Brothers and sisters, soldiers and soldierettes, salute! If you alive and breathing, guess what? We are back to conquer another day and another year. Because what I always say, every day can be a triumph. It always comes back to what kind of individual we are. If we're healthy, that good old mind, body, and soul. And I really appreciate current subscribers, new subscribers, those who've been riding along with the brother. Man, it's beautiful when we can all connect and come together and learn those things about ourselves, brother or sister, young or old, and just learn and get stronger, and get over the petty dumb stuff and see the real things in life that can benefit us in the future, because it's beautiful. And why do we do things in the present that's righteous to benefit us in the future? So the generation behind us, those we are connected to, when we transition, they would benefit from our energy, our money if we had it, because usually if we're righteous as a brother and sister, young or old, if we're righteous within in that psyche, we'll be righteous with our money. It will work its way out to the body in our physical life. That's a given. You got to stay with it, though. You got to be real in this walk. Can't be none of that fake shit. So I thank those that's been here, and I honor one's ancestors. I honor thy ancestors, always and forever, the righteous soldiers and soldierettes that fought, and some gave their lives to get a lot of us in the state and the place that we are in, those that are seeking knowledge and trying to leave an impact before we leave this place, because that's what it's about. It's not about bullshit. So I thank my ancestors for putting that spirit in me, because I remember one day, I can even remember, it's been years ago though, I can even remember the first time I felt that righteous spirit from our ancestors. Let me tell you what they said, and it came from both brother and sister, And I've heard teachers in the past say we shouldn't talk of them as they are transitioned, because actually they are still alive. Their bodies just laid to rest. So the spirit of our ancestors, the righteous spirit that's still out here and is in many great brothers and sisters out here, is beautiful. And I'm going to tell you, the first time I knew that our ancestral spirit is alive, or still alive. And you know what they said? Don't fret. And I remember this was before the pandemic thing. It was before that. And I remember right before that, before I can even feel any fear of that whole situation. Because remember, stress is the root of all sickness. Stress is a lot of things stem from stress. I talk about that a lot. But I remember feeling this. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, feeling it and hearing it in my spirit. Don't fret. And I didn't know why, and I didn't. And, I didn't ask questions because, like I say, when we're connected to that higher force, that higher supreme being, that great divine will send things to us that sometimes we don't understand, overstand, or understand. But we'll know in our gut. We'll feel it in our gut that it's the right path. And that spirit said to me, don't fret. So I'll pass that on to my brothers and sisters that's listening to me, those who view, don't fret, keep fighting, great divine always knows what's lying ahead. That's why it drops different things in different brothers and sisters spirit, great divine doesn't raise no dummies, it's always going to come back to that individual, because everybody has a divine ability. It always comes back to what? Knowing thyself. And I place that gold of our families. May all of our families prosper, and everything we touch turn to gold. And those we held dear in our families, circles, anybody in the world we held dear that left a righteous impact, in our families and anywhere, including everybody above and beyond. You know how I do it. May they rest in peace and in power. That transition, that means a lot to me, because we're all going to transition one day. So like I've said in the past, things I don't play with. I don't play with that higher supreme being. I don't play with people's lives. I don't play with my own life, and I don't play with death. That's one thing I don't joke about. And I take this walk serious. And why do we take this walk serious? Because we have family, children, accountabilities, things that's lying ahead. That great divine has for us. So we can't cock things all up and get mixed and mangled. Of course, social media, drawn into celebrity and politicians and things on TV and anything that's superficial or we don't need in our fucking life. Get it the fuck out. Pay attention to what's important. It will always benefit you in the future. That's a given. That's not an opinion. That's a fact. So, and how do we know that's a fact? Because look at those that's living a toxic life, not doing what that great divine wants them to do. Great divine doesn't want us to be perfect all the time, but just being naturally good-hearted person. Then we'll step and elevate into something more, but it's all up to us. So let's get to it. Like I said, salute to those that's been riding along. And volunteering at schools, and this is part 2. And letting that great divine lead our steps. When that great divine leads, or when we're led by that great divine steps, we have nothing to prove. Once that great divine gets in our soul, gets in our spirit, it's unfortunate that some brothers and sisters, young or old, might not. Some people, unfortunate now, I don't like the negative stuff, but I went through, like a lot of us, went through a lot of I always say process to get to a success state of mind, because it can be a process. I know it was for me. It was very, very challenging. I will never talk about becoming self-aware as an easy process, because for some of us it's not. Like I said, for me, man, it's been a hell of a journey. It really has. I'm still learning. But when you finally focus and you finally get yourself right and you got rid of all the dumb shit that's we harbor and carry for a long time, when we finally get that shit up out of us, man, we're led by that great divine steps. And once that divine got us, it won't let us go. Once we reach that truth, I heard a brother say this, once we really get that truth embedded deep within us, and we start acting on our desires, and we start seeing results, and we start feeling that joy within, for one, nothing can stop us. 2, that great divine is not going to let us go, because the truth comes for all of us. I don't care who we are, whatever our truth is, that truth comes for all of us. And you don't give in to the beast, and everybody has different beasts in their lives. Beast can be attention, beast can be lusting, beast could be undermining, beast could be manipulation, and the beast could be not even loving yourself. Because if you don't have love within yourself, how the hell you gonna love somebody else? That's real talk. And I'm telling you, when you've been through the process, you will know the do's and the don'ts. You will start paying attention to those instincts and those impulses, because impulses are very important. I haven't talked about that in a while, because you have righteous impulses, then you have, negative impulses. And as I always say, in the world, social media is loaded with wrong impulses. That's what gets a lot of individuals in trouble. I'm telling you, 2 things you can learn on this walk, and this young or old, brother or sister. You want to keep a stable life. Study your psyche and study your impulses. Watch your impulses and study our emotions. Now, those 3 things, I'm telling you, you will conquer all kind of ground when you study those 3 things, but you have to do it for a while. It takes practicing, maybe even reading things, sometime listening to others that have more experience or been on this planet for a while. We got to soak up things righteously, and don't disrupt the universe, And I remember I used to say, do what that great divine wants us to do, help our children, help our family, our significant other. And, we listen to different perspectives of brothers and sisters, whether it's in our family, our children, like I said, significant other, because we're always going to be connected to people. So that's why it's good to study human nature, not to try to sound smooth or intelligent. It's like a way of life. If you really pay attention and study things, for one, you will miss a lot of drama and you will stay focused. And I'm not talking about not having fun and enjoyment, because of course, that's part of the balance too. We got to enjoy our life. We can't be, serious all the time, but we got to stay ready, as we enjoy our life, our children, our significant other, if we have one. It's beautiful when we can just focus on those things and, listen to things that shake us up, but stay on course, enjoy the journey. Don't fuck it all up, because, man, I've said this before, like in social media. The moment we do something that's toxic or out of balance or that's not right with us within, and if we say it on social media or we post it or show it, it's frozen in time. And like I said, depending on how bad it is, I'm talking about like something we say or do on social media. Social media is always going to be a part of the discussion, always going to be a part of the conversation. But I'm speaking on this because I observe things that go on in the media too. Because, I always look for positive things, and I be researching. And, sometimes I might talk to, look at family that post stuff and close friends, anything that's of a good nature. That's what I be on social media for. Some entertainment, but not a lot. But I observe those who just, and this is that impulse thing, just do stuff on this social media, then they're forever frozen in time, especially if it's really, really bad and toxic and you get a lot of backlash for it. It's really hard to come back from. That's why we got to keep a right mindset as much as we can, man, when it comes to speaking on these platforms and stuff. We got to stick to what's real, and when we really feel something, that's when we speak, because I don't speak unless I really feel it in my soul, in my gut. When that divine tells one to speak, I speak. When that great divine tells me to shut up, sit down, I shut up and sit down. And, I listen to that higher force, because I wouldn't be here, as well as many of us, our parents, our children. We wouldn't have any of this, if that great divine didn't bless us with it, with life, period. Great divine breathes life into us and so much more. So I would never cock that up. That's why I always stay in appreciative mode and would not get out of balance, because there's too many things at stake in this life, especially in my life. And I'm sure there's others like me. I got children. I have a significant other, my family, so, and I'll say this from time to time. And I think we need to hear this sometimes. This is for children too. Children can hear this, young adults, grown adults, sometimes children can have more sense than adults. And that's ridiculous, because I've experienced it. I see it all the time. And it's a young brother on Twitter I saw, and he was talking very enlightenment, encouraging. I mean, this young kid couldn't have been no more than about 8, 9 years old. I don't know how old he was, but he talked like a grown man. He was spitting jewels. I was going to play it, but I didn't know if it'd be copyright. But whoever the father of that child, they doing a good job. And it's a lot of people have seen it. It's on Twitter, and it's on those little short clips, and it's been showed. And I like looking at the short clips of fathers with their daughters or with their sons. It's beautiful, man. It's heartwarming. I love seeing stuff like that. And it'd be the most cutest, adorable thing in the world. Like I seen a clip with a dad and a daughter. And that daughter, it was a young baby. And that baby, the way that young baby looked at its father with just joy and happiness. That's how you know that dad is doing what he's supposed to do with that daughter. And salute to that brother. And I've seen a lot of short clips like this, and it's great, because that's the kind of circle I keep myself in. If you keep yourself in a righteous space, man, that's all you'll see. If you, like I say, whatever we dwell on or think about the most, that's what we'll manifest. Whatever we think about, that's what our mind will search for. That's what our body will yearn for. If you always in toxic and negative and evil things, that's what you're gonna train your body to yearn and want. But if you keep yourself around like-minded brothers and sisters, whether in our families, our children, and you just always positive and you always want to do things to reach that goal of helping the world, I'm telling you, if you stay determined, stay at it, it'll come. You will start seeing things happening. Sometimes we be so engulfed in our love walk, we don't even see the gifts or the blessings that are happening, because we're too busy teaching and loving. We're not paying attention to how many people are listening or what people are doing. When you're just on that path and all you see is that goal, that righteous goal, you have tunnel vision. Nothing will sway you. Nothing will make you get off that path. Once you have practiced and study over time, over years, decades, once you have done it, and being righteous becomes natural. You are there. I'm telling you, that great divine, once it has a hold of your mind, body, and soul, it won't let you go. Especially if that force knows that you're real, that you have potential and what's in your desires. I'm telling you, that great divine will pull it up out of you. You'll be amazed at things that will come about, And I want to go back to what I'm saying about the impulses. impulses, just take a look around. That's your lesson. Like I say, those, depending on how toxic it is and how bad it is, you be frozen in time. And no matter what you do, I mean, you can forgive yourself and try to go back and change it, but it's still there. So that's why it's important what we do on social media. It's not a game. I don't even like that word game. Like I've said, I don't even like it when they use it for hip hop. Because to me, hip hop, music, it's not a fucking game. We got to remember that. Get rid of that damn word. Life is not about a game. Unless we're enjoying life for a minute and, and kind of take a breather from soaking in information and stuff, because we don't want our brain to be overloaded. So we have to enjoy ourselves and just be human sometimes. And, but like I said about the impulses, just watch your impulses and you will triumph all the time, So I really, I have a heart for those that's done things in the media just to get attention and didn't think first and play out those scenarios I always talk about. If you play out scenarios, it'll keep you from a lot of drama and a lot of bull. Real talk. So those are just a few things that I had in my spirit that I wanted to talk about. And today was day number 2 at volunteering at my son's school. I'm gonna talk about it. That's what's on my banner here. I don't know if you can see it real well, but that's my hallway. I'm on the 2nd floor, and it's the same floor as my son is on, so I get to watch him and and watch the kids, the stragglers that come in the hallway and stuff like that and don't have a pass. That's my job. And I could walk around the school too, but I basically stay in that hallway. So that's what's on my banner. And, having nothing to prove. Man, when you have nothing to prove and it doesn't take much to satisfy you, I'm telling you, life would just be so joyful and smooth and calm, And especially when you have that divine confidence within you, brother or sister, young or old, great things will come. Because you're planting seeds, And what I like to, I always say this, but I think it should be said. Good deeds doesn't always have to be seen. Just knowing that you're doing the right thing is the most rewarding payment one can get. And it feels good, And like I say, when I have something that I want to speak about, I will speak. And when it's time for me to shut up, I shut up. And every now and then I'll do music, and I'll keep doing music. And Lord Lamont, my son, he'll be on here too. I've been talking to him. And we're going to do some music. Yeah, it just, my schedule has kind of filled up. But, when you teach oneself organization, you'll get your rest, and you'll know, how much you can handle and how much you can't. Great Divine never give us more than we can handle. That higher supreme being knows who's strong, knows what those that have that light can handle. So, and we'll know if when we're focused and we're balanced, we'll know if we're doing too much and when we need rest. Because you do have to get rest, and you have to watch your diet and give your body time to recalibrate, so to speak. So you can stay fresh as we possibly can, especially as we get up in levels. I'm talking about age, because our body isn't as sharp as I said before. But doing positive things helps to energize you. Sometimes we might be tired, but we be so passionate about something and we want something, we just get excited. When the journey becomes fun, man, it's just, you be so excited to push out some good energy, and it makes you feel good. It makes for a great day. And it's brother, sister, young or old, and, just being positive. Because I'll say this from time to time, negativity can cost you, but positivity is free. So why not share it to a brother, a sister, a family member, a child, a significant other? I don't care what they're going through. You see you see right through what they're going through. Remember, we all have been through some kind of conditioning. So that's where I always start. That's where I always start. Anytime I'm not a counselor, but I'm going to say counsel. Anytime I'm counseling somebody or giving someone advice, I always keep in my mind that they have been through things too. But it's always going to come down to that individual helping themselves, So we can teach, we can give you love, we can give you motivation, we can share our experiences, but it's always going to come down to that child, brother or sister, that adult, for them to want change, to want to be great. Because, man, I'll say again, that Great Divine gives all those melanated brothers and sisters, everybody in general, but Melanated brothers and sisters, we have a special power. I mean, let's just keep it real. And a lot of us know this, but some of us don't use that power for good. That's the problem. And get mixed up in something. Some are easily manipulated and swayed. And that comes from not being happy where you are or who you are. That's when you're not happy with who you are or where you are and you become desperate, that's when things can happen to you. Don't let yourself become desperate. What I always say on this channel, never look at what's before us. Because if we look at what's before us, especially if it's, discouraging and we can feel it in our gut that it's not right, we won't be able to see what's beyond. Because you be like, damn, if I wouldn't have jumped off that impulse, I could have had this or I could have did that. And I'm telling you, that's what I call the woulda, coulda, shoulda syndrome. If you had enough woulda, coulda, shouldas in your life and you spent decades, this could be young too, but more so for adults, those that are pretty healthy, mind, body, and soul, and should know better. If you had enough woulda, coulda, shouldas, you shouldn't be making the same mistake over and over. That's all I'm saying. And I've heard this from great teachers. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. And that's real talk. And I've been there too. I've said on a podcast, I've been to the bottom of the barrel. I've been down and out. I've been homeless. I've been unaware. I didn't know shit. And I haven't always talked like this. I'm going to tell you how I used to talk. I used to be like, yeah, man, let's go get these B's and I'm going to get these numbers. Man, there was some hoes at that club. And I was like, that's how I used to talk. But that's when I wasn't aware. I thought that was normal. But when I think back, it's like, holy crap, man, didn't have a clue back in those days. I'm talking about decades, didn't have a clue, But fast forward to now, because I have learned to listen. I was willing to learn, to go that extra mile, to take that step, to volunteer in these schools, get involved in my son's life, get involved in my older son's life, get involved in my younger son, my 8-year-old, get involved in his siblings' life, and one day I'll do a podcast on them and I'll show them a before and after, because I've been around them, like I said, the last 9 years. I've been around my son's siblings. They're not my biological kids, but I call them my spiritually adopted children. And I literally been around these kids almost since they were babies. I mean, one of them was in a car seat when I first met them. So I put that time in. So my credit is good. So once we get to that state, brothers and sisters, when we have reached a goal that we have been trying to reach, then we have to study on ways to maintain it. Because never ever get to a space where you say, oh man, I'm good, I ain't got to worry about nothing now. You're a fool if you think like that. Always got to stay sharp. Always got to be ready. Not a paranoid thing. Just stay in anticipation mode. I say that a lot too. And be ready for things. I'm telling you, you'll triumph, when you start cutting different things off and you take those pockets of solitude. And why do we take those pockets of solitude? Sometimes long, sometimes short, depending on where we are in our lives. Because I know some of us work jobs as well as myself, and I take those pockets of solitude. I think about my children, and this is just for me, but anybody, you take those solitude moments because you can come in tune with that great divine spirit. And so we can stay on course and think about things we need to do, accountability and challenges that may come, and play out scenarios on different things, and don't jump off our impulses and figure things out. Sometimes we got to just step back, just be quiet, because that's when you can think, when you can be quiet, when the mind is quiet and shut out all the noise. That's my thing. And I know we got fake individuals out there that's doing different shit, but always remember, we got great brothers and sisters out there too, because I have met some, and I know many of you have too. So we be aware of the negative individual, toxic individuals, but we connect ourselves. We be aware, like I said, aware of the negative, but connect ourselves to the positive, engulf ourselves to the positive as much as we can. I'm telling you, you won't do nothing but benefit yourself. You'll never go wrong when you're righteous. I don't care how hard it is or how challenging it seems. Stay with it. I don't give a damn. Because like this, me volunteering at this school, at my son's school, being led by them divine steps. I'm telling you, great divine will never drop nothing on us or in our spirit that we can't handle. You know, like I say, if it feel right in your gut, you know, it ain't nothing evil or nothing like that, you on the right path. When you're righteous and real to the pit of the soul, you're not fake and not envious or not playing no games, you're on the right path. Just keep moving, you know, keep it moving, you know. Nothing to prove to nothing to prove to the world. It's only two beings that we have something to prove to. Well, two beings and then other things, but two beings we have something to prove to. That's that higher force, that great divine. Well, it's the same thing. I call them great divine or higher force sometimes, but that great divine and ourselves. That's the only beings, not to nobody else. Because when we do good deeds, like me volunteering at this school and not trying to, you know, really push it out there, because I'm just sharing, you know, and it eventually people will see. You just got to keep that in your spirit. You know, don't become desperate or worried. You know, have none of those things in your system and just keep doing what you're doing, especially if you're righteous, you know, wherever we are in our lives. You know, small impacts could lead to a big impact, you know, but you got to start somewhere, you know, and this is where I'm starting. Remember, I always say, before we reach out to the world, we start with ourselves, our children, and then our family, one person at a time. That's my thing. And seeing the results in the children, you know, and it's beautiful. And the kids call me, my son's name is Ethan. So when they see me, they say, "Hey, Ethan, Dad." And the more they see me, the more connected we become. And it's beautiful. I love that, man. It's like, wow. It's like, I never thought I would be doing what I'm doing now. If, you know, because my friends that, you know, people I grew up with, if they see me now, they be like, "This is not Eric." That's my name. I go by EBX and my name is Eric. And they like, "This is not Eric." Because I'll be honest, I used to be really shy, used to be really, really quiet, and I'm still kind of quiet now. I'm not shy now. Now it's a choice. This is just how I move, especially the way these times are. And in social media, you can get scammed and people hack into your account, and then you get these little porn links that be trying to follow you and all that shit. So I don't have time for that shit. So, and it's just my own thing, nothing against nobody else. I don't, like I said, I don't really do Instagram. I be on Twitter sometimes because I share my music. I be on Facebook sometimes, but I don't be on there a lot. I just got on there recently and shared a couple of short clips that I seen some dads with their sons and daughters. I did share that. So that's the kind of stuff I do. But this is just my thing, you know. I'm over the whole social media, the social media thing. I have conquered the media bug. I conquered the media bug a long time ago. And if you like, you can look at a podcast I got in my returning subscribers, the trailer, I think that's what you call it. And I conquered that bug a long time ago. I've been over social media, you know, because I'm telling you, when you really have those desires in your heart to reach the world, it gets real at some point. Because I said before, when we are influencing others, that great divine is not going to play with us. So, and it's going to make us bring those things inside of us out and deal with it before we influence. But if we have a right heart, some people don't give a shit, still try to influence anyway and not deal with shit on the inside, because you cannot begin to influence others, and this children, brothers and sisters in our circle, online, our family, significant other, if we don't have ourselves right within. Never going to get away from that. Never, ever. You know, so if a person think they just going to override those things, those issues within, yeah, right, it's going to implode. I always talk about supernova, something that explodes. And that's what it's like. But the opposite of that, I said this before, but I think it's a good analogy. The opposite of a supernova is supernova is something that explodes. But the opposite of that is imploding. And that's what I see happening to some individuals, especially in this social media, in the world in general, though, that's not dealing with that shit within. I mean, it's just going to fuck you up in the long run. You know, get that shit out the way, man. So just deal with it. Get it over with, you know. If it's not that bad, but if it's really toxic and bad, that great divine is going to have to deal with you on that. You know, if you really have done something like really bad to another individual, you know, whether it's, you know, molestation or you raped somebody or you murdered somebody, the great divine is going to have to deal with you on that. But if you haven't done anything, just made little mistakes here and there, and just, you know, how a lot of us, how we were when we were younger. I'm talking about things like that, you know, and, you know, the way we think, you know, we have to change that way of thinking, man. Like Malcolm X said, and it's for the children too. Change that way of thinking. And once we change our mindset and be in a righteous mode, man, it'll make us way. It will change the way we live. We'll change the way we talk. We'll change how we eat. We'll change how we connect to brothers and sisters, our family. The whole world will change because all you will see is righteous brothers and sisters before you. That's what you will want to see in others. Even though we'll come across toxic, but we don't have to worry about toxic brothers and sisters because that great divine will take care of them, you know. And like I say, you can't beat karma. Everybody knows about karma. So that was something that was in my spirit. And forgive me, I know the screen went off, so I'm going to go and sign out. And thank those that's been listening. And I'm going to keep volunteering. I keep those posted. And be led by that great divine steps. And you'll never go wrong. I guarantee it. And thank those that's been listening. Current subscribers, new subscribers. And may that great divine bliss or bless you. And reachers and teachers, those I have learned from, those that's putting in that work, I appreciate you, brother or sister. May that great divine bliss or bless you. And I honor my family. I honor your family, brothers and sisters, man. And I honor my children. I honor their mothers, brothers and sisters all over the world. May you please keep that ultimate peace in your part of the world. And I don't care how challenging it is, what it look like, always be led by that great divine steps. And I guarantee it. I put a guarantee on it. You'll never go wrong, but you have to go there to get there. Salute.